immediate plans, but other than to have fun. I don't know, it's kind of like a compulsion. Like, I have to shoot. Being a woman and shooting out in the street is like a superpower. I felt that, girl.
All right, we're back with another episode of Walkie Talkie. Today we got Jas. Jas, what's up?
Hi, how are you?
Can you introduce yourself to the people and let people know who you are and what you do?
I am Jas. I'm a New York City-based photographer documenting people and the city of New York.
Where are we at today? Where are we walking?
We are on Madison and 72nd. We're gonna walk on Madison and then through Central Park, and then we'll just see where the day takes us.
Cool, let's go.
Cool.
All right.
I am shooting right now with the M4P, and then I have a Ricohflex that I just picked up recently.
What made you pick up the medium format camera?
I want to kind of like challenge myself on composition with a 6x6 format. Something I struggle with is like keeping my subject in center. I tend to do that a lot, so I feel like with 6x6 you can kind of challenge yourself with compositions. I like to meter the light, and then throughout the day I kind of wing it. So
what's your preferred focal length?
28. I've been shooting with 28mm for like the past year, and I got 28mm because I was trying to force myself to get closer to my subject. It's been working, but I feel like I tend to always give my subject space. So it helps me push the boundaries, but I also like how at 28 you can capture the whole scene.
How long have you been shooting with the Leica?
I picked up the Leica. So previously I was shooting with a Canon P, and I really loved that camera, but I was having some issues with it. And my friend, William Yan, he was selling his M4. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. So I picked it up, and that was in 2020. So I started shooting with Leica in 2020, and I really haven't looked back since. I know people say like, gear isn't everything, but if gear is what like inspires you and motivates you to go out and like shoot, then how can you argue with that? Yeah. So since 2020.
You shoot black and white mostly?
Yes.
Like solely black and white?
So I committed this year to only shooting black and white, but I used to shoot color. I would say more specifically color past years, but this year I made the decision of only shooting black and white. And this is like kind of a controversial topic, but I converted all my color work to black and white. And yeah, I don't think, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll start shooting color again, but I think once I've made the change, the way I shoot and when I'm shooting, I think in black and white. So it's really hard to change between the two. Yeah. So at the moment, yes, only black and white. And it works for me, so. You
just set up a dark room.
So I'm in the works of it. I'm converting my dining room into a dark room, but there's like a whole lot that had to go into it for it to be functional. So I had to really I had 2 windows in there, so I had to black out the windows. I had to set up ventilation system because of the chemicals. And now I have to close off both entries of the dining room. And I'm doing all like the woodworking myself. Just because I love doing it. Like I built my desk and everything, so I have to set up 2 sliding doors, and then it'll be fully functional. Hopefully within the next month, I could get it done. I'm so excited. It's something I've been wanting to do, but never really like pushed myself to do up until now. The time felt right, so every time I think about it, I get so excited. The way I was introduced to photography was through a dark room, which is why I refused to let go analog film. So it's nice that I can finally start being consistent with it and just archiving my work. So I just want to like hone in and learn everything there is to learn about the darkroom. A trait that I have about myself is that I overly research things. So it's a double-edged sword. Like sometimes I just can like OD on it, and then sometimes I just let it live. But I just want to like hone in do as much research, do as much training with it, and then I don't know where it takes me. I really also just like don't plan things. I just like go with the flow, and like I'm a big believer in the universe will figure it out for you. As long as you're putting that energy out there, the universe will gift you with, you know, what you're looking for. So yeah, no immediate plans, but other than to have fun.
Just do it, yeah?
Yeah, just do it. We're gonna make a right onto 61st and then head into Central Park. Sundays I'm either like in Queens or downtown more, but I wanted to take this route on a Sunday, but it's really slow, so.
It's really slow.
It's always that moment where you're like trying to get it before they look at you, and then they look at you and smile or give you a peace sign, and then you're like, no!
You said you moved here 6 years ago?
6 years ago, yeah. I was born and raised in the West Coast, and my boyfriend decided to just, fuck it, like let's move. We packed our life into one suitcase. We didn't have a job in line. We didn't have an apartment in line. We just said like, let's land there and then we'll figure it out. And it always goes back to like, for me in particular, like trusting the universe and believing that things will work out for you as long as you're making your efforts. Nice snap.
So moved here 2018?
Yeah, 2018. Got the Leica 2020. But prior to that, I've been shooting for some time, just not street photography. I started shooting street photography in 2020. So I'm still really fairly new to it. I've dabbled in it prior years, but once I got my Leica, I was like, I don't know, I fell in love, and I don't know, it's kind of like a compulsion. Like, I have to shoot.
What besides just having the Leica made you go like, oh, I'm gonna start taking street photos?
When I started to be consistent and look back at my negatives, I realized that I started to capture stories of the people in the city. Shooting in that way it's actually baffling when you think about it, because you're stopping. This is like the only tool you can stop time with. So the thought of that and being able to freeze those moments, I think that's what gets me. So that's why I haven't. Just keep going. It's like a compulsion. And I'm also very selective with what I shoot. I'm kind of like, I consider myself like a slow photographer. I have a hard time firing away sometimes. I admire the type of photographers that can fire away. I just can't.
Because your background in photography is in the studio.
Yeah. My main goal when I started photography and freelancing was to be in the fashion industry and fashion world. And I've been... ooh, yes, the sun's coming out. Yeah, I used to mostly do fashion photography, but I feel like it was boxing me in a little. I still love fashion photography, but I just don't do it as often. However, I would like to get back to doing more portraiture work.
You ever do street portraiture?
Actually, this camera has been helping me capture some street portraits. Like I was shooting the Dominican Day Parade a few days back, and I had so many people ask me for a photo, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Because like I said, I'm kind of like, I'm a fly on the wall. I don't really interact with my subjects. But this has been pushing me to do that. So I took a few portraits that day, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep doing that for a little bit. Let's see how it goes. Portraiture and fashion photography is my first love. So it's nice. Like when I was shooting the Dominican Day Parade and I was taking portraits, I started to feel that spark again. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this. Let's see how it goes. But sometimes it's hard for me. I mean, and this is like the full transparency. Like sometimes it's hard for me to fully interact with my subjects, which is why I like to be a fly on the wall. But it's also about unlearning those habits and challenging yourself. I like to enter Central, we're gonna go this way onto 6th Ave. I like to enter through Central Park because it kind of gives you like a zen moment, and then you're back to the chaos.
How often are you out here shooting?
At least twice a week. Definitely not as much as I would like. I have a 9 to 5. It's just the life of living in New York. So I have a 9 to 5. But if I didn't, I would be out here every single day. But at the moment, I mean, I also carry my camera everywhere, but days that I'm actually really focused, 2 days out of the week. Yeah.
In terms of balance of work, your personal, private life, and then photography, do you feel like that's pretty evenly balanced for you?
Probably not. I think I'm pretty good with like time management. So I make time for things that I need to make time for. It's love.
So we're entering Midtown now, or we're basically in Midtown.
Yep. Yeah.
How far? Like, what's your so Upper East Side to the park?
Yeah.
Where do you usually go after that?
I go typically all the way down to 14th Street, and I like to end my day at Strand. And I go through the books. I tell myself only one book, Jas, and then I end up leaving with a few more. But yeah, typically down to 14th Street, and then I call it a day. But it also depends on how I'm feeling. So, but usually at least I pass 42nd, typically.
What's the most recent photo book you picked up? Okay, so before Jas gets into her photo books, let's talk about another source of inspiration available to you all.
I recently picked up Mary Ellen Mark's Encounters, which is like a compilation of her most iconic work. She's my goat. I really want to get also Ward 81. I can't find it. I usually, and that's the thing, it's like I'll go to Strand, and if it's not there, I won't order it anywhere. I'm like, I'm just gonna wait until it's meant to be. Okay.
It's candy food.
What are the photo books you like?
A book that I really admire is Jill Friedman's Jill's Dogs. It's a whimsical book revolving around dogs. I'm a huge dog lover, so I really enjoy that book. I love like Richard Avedon's portraiture work and a lot of like William Klein's street, but also mixed in with fashion. I think that's like the perfect combination for me. And I also love Bruce Davidson's book Central Park. That's like pretty iconic and a book that I always gravitate towards in my library. I've noticed like a lot of my triggers are the elderly, kids, being kids, and women. I find it easier to shoot. Oh, okay, first roll done. I'm actually kind of speeding through it with you. I feel like when I rush, it gives me anxiety and I'm like prone to anxiety. And then everything just goes wrong. So I'm like, let me take my time. I always find it crazy how we domesticated pigeons and now they just like, they're like rats. Well, that's really fucked up to say, but they're like,
kinda, yeah, you're right. You're not wrong.
But I've been trying to, I've been trying to document pigeons a little bit more. And there's this guy that lives in my building and he only comes out when it's like evening time when he wants to feed the pigeons in the area. And I've been able to capture him one time. I'm trying to capture him more often, but he's very like grumpy and secluded. Sometimes I try to pay attention to people and like how glued they are with their phone because I'm also like really bad at that. But that's just like one of the topics that like not messes up street photography, but like it kind of like, it's a challenge to photograph people not being on their phones. I don't really want to shoot in there. All right, let's go through the park and then weave out. Okay. I like your hat. It's a paperboy hat?
More or less.
Yeah, I really like the pattern clashing. Can I take a portrait of you? Awesome, thank you. Just gonna look down at the camera. I'll let you know when I take the photo, okay?
Okay.
All right, ready?
I'm ready.
Chin down just a little bit. Perfect. 1, 2. Awesome. One more.
Okay.
Is that fine?
Whatever you want.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I have to appreciate the compliment.
No, the hat looks great on you. Okay. 1, 2. Perfect. I can send it to you if you'd like. Do you have an email address?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is paper too old-fashioned for you?
Oh no, that's totally fine. I mean, I'm shooting all with film, so I guess I'm pretty old-fashioned. Sorry, I didn't get your name.
Gabriel.
Gabriel,
And you are?
Jasmine, nice to, and I love your glasses. Those are so cool. I'll let you know when I'm gonna send them, okay?
Have a great
Awesome,
day.
you too. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? I always just raw dog my metering, but every now and then I need to check. Damn.
Can you talk about the advantages and disadvantages of being a woman out here taking street photos?
Yeah, I feel like being a woman and shooting out in the street is like a superpower because you can really get away with a lot. I thankfully, and knock on wood, haven't had any negative confrontations. I just feel like as long as you're obviously respecting someone's space and being nice, that goes a long way. But I feel like especially as a woman, it's an add-on when shooting strangers because they feel a little more warm and they feel a little bit more open. So I definitely think that's a superpower. And sometimes too, like older women and older men really cherish compliments as they get older because America is a little bit ageist. So once you become a little older, you're kind of not as seen.
Any cons, negatives you could think of?
Yeah, sometimes like they think you're flirting with them, like specifically men. But I would say that's the only con. They kind of perceive it differently. So when you kind of got to get stern. I've had situations like that before. Yeah, it's tough. Like sometimes if you're mean to a guy or too nice to a guy, you get the same outcome.
I feel like guys have the opposite problem where like there's like somebody I want to take a portrait of, it happens to be a woman. I want to compliment them, but they're going to take it like I'm trying to flirt with them. I'm like, no, I don't know how to say this, but I just want to take your picture. Like,
so that's a good point. Like sometimes if things ever get too hairy for me, I do carry around a little portfolio just to show that what I'm doing is not to show a bad light, and it's just to document the people in New York City. So I carry this around just in case. I like prepare myself in case someone gets too angry. And then I just show them like work that I've done, and sometimes I'll gift it to them just to kind of ease that negative feedback or potential argument. Let's see what's happening over here.
how are you with like parades and events? Is that something you gravitate towards?
I love them. I love them so much. I try to document like the before they get to the main street. But if you're like a beginner and you're scared of shooting people, a parade is a really good challenge. But I love them because everyone's open to being photographed. But it's up to you to portray it in your style and unique way. Sometimes it's hard for it to not look like so festival, you know, but at the end of the day, these are moments that are happening, so you gotta capture it. Oh, like her dancing, I need to get her. Can I take your portrait?
Oh, you want to hold it?
No, can I take your photo?
Hold it for a second.
Okay.
You can't take my picture. Oh, period.
Okay, so she just gave it to me. Yay! What's your name? Can I take your picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna have you.
Okay.
Can I do a solo one of just you, and then I'll do one with your friends? Okay?
I just like them.
Oh! Let me take one of you. Okay? Okay, just stand there. Awesome. Well, I love that. Give me 1 second.
It's film, right? I'm
Yes.
also a film photographer.
I'm sorry?
I'm also a film photographer.
Oh, are you really?
Do you have
Okay,
a
we're
card?
gonna change.
Do you have a card?
Here's my Instagram. It's at the bottom of my camera.
Okay, what is it called?
Right there.
Leon?
Yes, JASLEON. Yes. Okay, ready? I'm gonna have you. Oh, so trustworthy. Perfect. You can wave around the flag if you'd like. I'm gonna take a few, okay? I'm gonna take a close-up. Okay, if you could just look at me. Love that. Thank Thank you so much. I didn't get your name. John B. Jasmine.
Nice to
I'm gonna give you your phone because you passed it on to me.
Yeah.
I love your nails. I love
I
yours.
broke my nail with this flag. It's fine.
Oh,
It's my
no.
third refill.
One
So I'm
time,
gonna redone. It's fine.
are they okay though?
It's
One time I broke it right in the middle. I felt that, girl. I know the feeling.
That's how hard I'm going today.
I'm not gonna risk it. I have PTSD. Literally, like, I tried it one time and then the cop just like dragged me out. Kind of want to get to the end and see. 'Cause usually they disperse. Can I take your portrait? Hi. You look so beautiful. Can I take your portrait? Yes. Awesome. Okay. I'm gonna have you stand over here. Is this fine? You can stand in front of this wall. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna meter the light. I'll let you know when I'm ready, okay? Okay, you're just gonna look at me, okay? Chin down just a little bit. Perfect. 1, 2. Awesome. One more. Just for good measures. Perfect. Thank you. Nice. Let's go this way.
Do you have a favorite photograph of yours?
I feel like they're all a work in progress, but I would say the Mexican Day Parade, the group of mariachi girls that I captured that was actually around this area too, on 23rd. They were waiting to go onto the main street of the festival. And then there's this one girl gazing to the corner and another girl off to the corner gazing the opposite way. And I just feel like composition-wise, it aligned for me. And I cherish that photo a lot because that's when after I got it developed, that's the one that like sparked the love of street photography within me. And then I was addicted. I recently took a workshop, which was like my first ever workshop with David Gibson. He gave us, it was like a 7-8 hour long workshop, and in the end you had a portfolio review. And each hour he gave us challenges. So for one was like seeing numbers and shadows in objects. And then the next hour was like use a slow shutter speed. And that really kind of opened up my eyes. Going out with like a certain goal or challenge. Like one day I'll go out and I'm only gonna do slow shutter speed and try to capture movement. Or the next day I'll work on like another challenge. But that really opened up my eyes that it doesn't just have to be like shooting, shooting, shooting. You can have a challenge each day. Prior to the workshop, I read his book. He wrote a book on a guide to street photography. And I overly research. I always come prepared. So I read the whole book before the workshop. And then in a section, he talks about quiet photography. And I was like, wait, because I've always wondered like what my particular style is. And I really did resonate a lot with what he said in regards to quiet photography, how you're a lot more thoughtful and selective with the photos and the composition. that you're taking. I've also been to the Leica Women's Street Photographer photo walk because I feel like I barely see any other women roaming around. I know they're there. I know we're here. Like, I know y'all exist, but I never run into them. So when I go to the Leica Women's Street Photography walk, I see all of them, and I love to connect with all of them. Yeah, usually I end around this area and go into Strand and like go through photo books.
He's had a little bit more of a haircut.
Sometimes I'll develop my rules for the week and then have only one photo that I semi-like. So being open to failure and allowing that to motivate you and push you to get the photos you want. It's like an inner challenge all the time. I talk about challenges all the time because I feel like I'm always trying to like be on my toes and grow. Yeah, even when I did the workshop with David Gibson, I told him in advance, I'm like, hey, like I shoot only on film because he said to bring like your digital camera. And I was like, I don't shoot digital. I don't even own one. It's like, oh, it's cool. Don't worry about it. We were able to like, he was giving me specific challenges for film photography, but in moments like that, I think it's important to be true to yourself and stick to who you are and the tools that you use, and don't steer away from that just to please someone else. Like even with gigs, when sometimes they would hire me and I tell them like, this is the budget because I shoot film. If they weren't willing to pay it or they didn't want it in film, I wouldn't do the gig. So.
How are you with like organizing all your negatives and digital files and stuff?
I'm OCD about it. I'm really like neurotic about that. I love like the before and the after, like the preparation before shooting and then the afterwards, like working on like scanning and developing. So I love to organize all my negatives after I get it developed. Right now I'm just getting everything developed and I scan everything myself. So I have to organize it because I'm scanning it. But right now I'm trying to like figure out in my darkroom a system that works, because I actually want to start not scanning my negatives but printing my negative and then scanning that print. But yeah, I'm pretty like neurotic about it. Like,
what's the system?
It's my zen.
Yeah.
So when I get home, my film is usually I request it to be uncut. So I will go ahead and I will cut it myself into frames of 5. And after scanning it, I put them into sleeves and then I date it, and I have this like special initial stamp that I have that I like stamp each individual sleeve. And then yeah, I date it and then I make sure to add a description of what's it about, what year, whatever. And then I have a file cabinet and then I put it, organize it by month.
In the file cabinet. So
in
there's
the file
no binders,
cabinet.
no binders?
I do have binders, but that's for archivable work.
Gotcha.
So all of my work from like 2016, 18, and 19 are all stored away in binders and like, I forgot what they're called, but they're like blacked out boxes.
And then conversely on your computer, your digital side,
Yeah.
is that filed similarly so you can locate a negative pretty easily?
Yeah, so I have I laugh about this because like I'm so particular in the way I do things. And that's not just like film photography. I feel like that's my whole life. I'm very particular. So I have an external drive and it's organized by year, then month. And they're all just scanned into their own little folders, so it's easily to find. But that, like, I do it on my desktop. I've learned my lesson because I used to do it on my laptop and then I used to constantly remove my external hard drive and connect it. And one time I dropped my hard drive. So all of my work from like 2015, 2016. It's gone.
It's not a
Okay, finish the sentence. I take photos because.
I take photos because I don't have any other option. Like, I feel like I must take photos. I've tried stopping and letting go of photography at some point in my life, and it just reels me back in. So I feel like, yeah, I have to. I have no other option.
All right, that's gonna do it for this episode of Walkie Talkie. Jas, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Thank you.
Let people know where they show you some love.
So my Instagram is at Jasleon, JASLEON, and website jasleon.com. Easy as that.
Okay, appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much. I had fun. It was a beautiful and humid day. Hopefully I got something good. We'll see.
Yeah, all right, peace.
Yeah.